So we have two sets of little giblets for today's news. The first one involving a potentially horrific scene. A man overboard on a Royal Caribbean ship that thankfully had a good outcome as the passenger was able to be saved after they allegedly fell off a cruise ship during their first day of the cruise. We also got to talk about something that has been, well, the tea around here. There was an unfortunate fatal boat crash that took place over in Port Miami, causing a lot of delays. And I do believe there is a lesson to be learned when it comes to that particular and extremely sad situation. By the way, a quick update. I have just arrived in Europe, the UK to be specific, after 18 hours of long traveling from Miami, then Colombia, and then over here to the UK. My hotel just so happens to be literally right next to the Carnival Corporation's UK headquarters. Now, I'll let you guys take a guess in the comment section. What city do you think I'm in? Also, what ship do you think I'll be sailing on in 5 days time? Of course, if you want to know without all the hassle, you can go ahead and subscribe to my Patreon for as low as $2 a month. You get my whereabouts, direct access to me, and, well, a lot of other cool giblets.
A passenger reportedly fell overboard from a cruise ship.
Yeah, it's a cruise ship that left from Port Canaveral. This happened on Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas, and Randy Hildreth is at the port this morning. Randy, we know the ship left this past Friday, and we're starting to learn more of the details and see video of that rescue also.
Yeah, I want to get right to that video to show viewers what we have started to collect to paint the scene of what happened. Take a look at your screen.
We have a report of a person overboard, so the captain has turned the ship around and we have many eyes on the ocean right now.
And in this video, you can see and then also hear what unfolded. It sounds like an announcement made to passengers about that unfolding situation. Now, passengers say someone fell or jumped overboard southeast of the Dominican Republic yesterday afternoon. Crews were able to rescue them. And in some of the video, you can see the yellow rescue boat that was dropped into the ocean. Now, we have reached out to Royal Caribbean to find out more information, like what led up to this person going overboard, and are they okay?
So you heard the news, lady. I'm not going to sound like a broken record here. This past Sunday on board Mariner of the Seas, there was a passenger, a male passenger, that allegedly and accidentally jumped off the cruise ship or fell off. Nobody really knows the full scoop. Before we dive into this, I will say, it does seem like, and I say this all the time, that this seems to happen right around the same time every year. That, of course, being between springtime, summertime, and holiday season when people are, of course, cruising the most. But I also believe you have a lot of people that are cruising that have never really cruised before or don't cruise often. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, it boggles my mind why people think that jumping off of a cruise ship will be the best and quickest way to go. It doesn't exactly work like that. Now, thankfully, this passenger was saved. In most cases, when these man overboard situations tend to happen, the passenger or crew member or whoever went overboard typically is not found, as it is literally like finding a needle in a haystack, obviously, because the ocean is quite large and a cruise ship is like a train, except worse. It can't just stop, turn around, and by the time they deploy the crew and the safety boats and all that stuff, it's just almost impossible. But thankfully, with the rapid response of the crew members, they were able to get this man back on board safe and sound. Now, I would always say when it comes to situations like this, there are typically only three scenarios in which somebody either jumps or falls off the cruise ship. Either is an intentional thing, or they have decided to self-delete themselves and jump off. It is a situation where people are playing around, horseplaying on the railing, trying to take a selfie. We've seen this in history's past. Or is a situation where there is foul play. This is extremely, extremely rare. It's not very often you see a passenger push another passenger, a lover, or whoever, off of a cruise ship. It has happened, but like I said, very, very rare situations. However, I do believe those are really the only situations where somebody goes overboard. People don't just simply walk and then fall off, unless they happen to be like 8 foot tall, like a shack or something like that. Moral of the story, be careful who you cruise with, guys. If you are sailing with somebody that is having those types of self-deleting thoughts, maybe a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean is probably not the best place for them to be in. Also, if you're sailing alone, then you are having these thoughts, of course, go seek some guidance, some therapy, whatever it is that you need. And that way we can avoid, hopefully, this situation from continuing to happen. By the way, sorry if I sound a little sluggish and all over the place here. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of traveling, sleeping in and out here and there. I'm pretty tired. But on to the next story. So many of you have heard about this. There were 3 cruise ships that were set to return back to its home port over in the largest cruise port in the world, Port Miami, which was the ship that I used to work on, Norwegian Escape, the Carnival Celebration, as well as the MS fancy seascape. These are not small ships by any means, and they are all fairly new with the exception of the Norwegian Escape, and they all hold a lot of passengers. However, their return back to their home port was delayed due to an accident that happened around 4 in the morning between a 30-foot boat and I believe it was like some type of ferry. Now, when the collision happened, there was a man that unfortunately lost his life, as well as another one that was seriously injured, causing an investigation and a closing of the cruise port over in Miami. This caused a major delay from the ship getting back to disembarking all the passengers to then having the new passengers get back on. And well, there was a lot of angry people there. And then furthermore, there were a lot of people that were disembarking that obviously ended up missing their flights. This is a situation that I want to talk about because this obviously is not the fault of the cruise line, it's not the fault of the port, it's not the fault of the authorities. Things just simply happen. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people, understandably, are in a rush to get back home. They want to relax a little bit because, as you say, with cruising a lot of the time, a lot of people need a vacation from their vacation. So if they happen to have, let's say, 2 or 3 days to relax at home or wherever it is that they're going to be flying to after the cruise, and a lot of people are in a hurry. They don't want to sit at an airport after disembarking their cruise ship, their vacation, sit at the airport for another 5, 6, 7, 12 hours. They want to get home as soon as possible. And what you have is a lot of people that will book a flight anytime, I want to say before noon isn't really a good time. A lot of people do tend to have early disembarkation or whatever it is that they schedule, but when things go wrong such as this, and well, you don't exactly have a lot of options and you could end up missing your flight. And if you don't have insurance, if you didn't book the flight with the cruise line or anything of that nature, well, you could potentially be screwed out of hundreds of dollars, which obviously is not good. I'm guilty of it just like all of you fine folk. I try to book the earliest flight possible after I disembark the cruise. One time I booked a 10 a.m. flight out of Port Miami. I barely made it. I got extremely lucky, but when you have situations like this happen and people that are reasonable, they try to book sometime in the afternoon to early afternoon to skedaddle on home and fly home. And well, when situations such as this happen, then obviously it is going to cause some complications. I would say to combat this, always of course get insurance. If you have a flexible ticket, maybe go down that route or book with the cruise line. Obviously I know a lot of people aren't. Those Spirit deals are extremely tempting to get home, and well, just be prepared to have maybe at least an extra couple $100s in your bank account should you have to make adjustments if you decide to go that route. I'm not here to judge, I'm just letting you guys know what's going on. As you've seen, things can happen and they can happen very quickly. Changing up your plans just a little bit. Maybe have a day and go explore Miami when you disembark the ship, or plan like an early evening flight if you are going to be somewhat risk averse or at least cautious to situations such as this moving forward. By the way, as we're finishing up here, of course, my condolences do go out to the friends, family, and loved one of the passenger or the driver of the boat, whoever it was that lost their life during the boat crash, and whoever is also injured, let's wish them a speedy recovery. I'm talking about the situation as a whole, not much so this isolated situation. Obviously, the priority should be to make sure whoever was injured in that crash gets the care that they need, make sure the family gets all the information and knows what's going on. The last thing people need to be worried about, in my opinion, when something like this happens is a missed flight. But of course, we are all living our own lives and we all have other things that we are also thinking about, and I hate to say it, but things do happen every day, and the only thing we really can do is wish whoever needs to be wished well, and of course just continue moving forward. But this is what I got for today's video. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Know as usual, I love each and every one of you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and well, I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.